Record. All right, so I think we're gonna start doing these like more regularly on some more like kind of like meaty material. Like I know a lot of people are wondering exactly like what the reboot is, more about ketones and ketosis and all those things. So as we kind of go, people have questions, by all means, you can either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask whatever you're comfortable with. But we just came back from LCD. So between Epic and then it does seem like a lot of time for a lot of you that was between the two. But for me, I stayed in Florida for an extra 10 days and then I was in New Brunswick. And so I wasn't home much in between the two. But one of the biggest things I feel for myself, and I'll ask Susan after this, and is that I think we're all kind of playing like a little small, like we just think like, oh, ketones can help people. Oh, they can be good for some people, right? And it honestly is so much bigger. Like we can help in so many ways. So somebody might be looking for better sleep, and they might not get that for 3 to 6 to 9 months, but it doesn't mean that ketones aren't doing a ton of other awesome things for their body. So you have to really like keep that in mind, and your posture has to be so convicted that this is going to help them. So it is unfortunate that we don't know exactly what the ketones are going to do for one person and not somebody else, because everybody on this call, we've all experienced something different. We've maybe been jealous that somebody else has got a benefit that we wanted and all those things. But we've seen it in other people. We know the product works. But the reason why the people in the States are growing so much faster than us is because their posture and their conviction on what this product does is a lot stronger. So by going to the events, I know Natasha's on. I don't know if there's anybody else on that's gone to an event. But when you can actually see what this product has done for people, like when you're meeting complete strangers and they're like, oh, you know what? I had seizures my whole life. I tried to eat keto, and ever since taking this product, I've never had a seizure again. Like that's going to change that person's life. Hearing about people with like the MS. I mean, we have our own stories in Halifax and in Bridgewater and everywhere, but we sometimes maybe don't realize like how crazy of a change that is for people. So if you are really looking to build this business and go, you do need to plug into our community. It's almost like, think about somebody who really wants to work, like say they want to become a bodybuilder. Not that they can't be a bodybuilder at home all by themselves and do it, but if they went to a gym that was with all like-minded bodybuilders, they would have a much better chance and quicker results because they're with like-minded people. So I hope that makes sense. But you need to plug in. Our Prove It Pulse calls are way underutilized, and they are getting better. Like I do know I'm one of those ones, like I don't care. Like I can listen to calls and be like, that wasn't the best, but I kind of took this and that out of it. But lately the calls have been a lot better. I don't know who's been on them, but the one yesterday, I listened to it 3 times today. It was phenomenal. I listened the first 2 times. I wasn't with paper. So my third time I actually was making notes because it was so good. But our Monday night calls and I'll make a list and maybe write it all out for everybody to get when the calls are, but use those calls for our customers. So even if a customer isn't asking questions or a potential customer, when you listen to the call, and if it's really awesome, it is really awesome, but a customer call, don't send a promoter call to a customer, but a promoter call, if you, I don't know if everybody knows what I'm talking about, but we've got our Prove It Pulse app. Those calls, you literally can go click online here to listen to it. And then my phone is an Apple. I'm assuming that Samsung's probably the same, but there's an arrow button. So when you're on that page, there's an arrow button. You can click the arrow and you can email it you can email the link. You can text message the link and just say like, hey, Sally, just listen to this. I know that, you're drinking the ketones. I just thought it was really interesting. This doctor's talking about it. Maybe when you're putting your makeup on in the morning or making supper, just press play and listen to it. Because when your customers understand the benefits too, they're going to want to keep on it as well. So it's good for both potential and current customers. But the product does work. So when we're talking to somebody, just making sure, I learned a lot, and we're going to do a couple role plays tonight. But I learned now from before, I was always like, just give it a try for 10, 20 days and was a lot more passive. But now I'm going to go with more of a conviction that like the product works. It will do what we say it's going to do. It might take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months to get the exact benefit you're looking for, just because we don't know what else is going on in your body, what else, right? So you might get it. You're looking for better energy. You might get better energy in 4 to 5 days. But if you have a ton of inflammation and a bunch of other things going on, it might take a while before you actually feel that. So if you go with that conviction, then when they've done the 10 days and they don't feel like Superwoman or Superman, they won't be so quick to not try the full 30 days. So it's really our posture. If we're not convinced that it's going to work, then it's very hard for them to believe it's going to work, right? So it does work. And honestly, I really hope a lot of you can go to Keto Academy and more with us, because when you get in there and you actually feel and see and talk to other people, sometimes those side conversations of talking to other promoters actually solidifies more than having some of the biggest researchers up on the stage. So one of the things Rob DeBoer had said on the call today, which was huge, he just said, you know what? Our product works 100% of the time. You need to drink the product, cut out the carbs, the processed carbs, cut out the processed carbs and move more. And that's what he tells everybody. So that way you are really setting it up. So we're drinking the product and it's doing lots of things. But then if we're bombarding ourselves with a bunch of garbage on top of it, it's only going to do so much. So that's what I always tell people. It's like going to the gym. You can go to the gym and there's benefits of doing that. But if you go to the gym and then drive through McDonald's and get a Big Mac with a milkshake and a dessert, you went to the gym, you got the benefits, but you still aren't going to get as many benefits as if you would have ate better with it. So it's the same thing with our product. So Susan, do you have anything you wanted just to kind of add to that part? Is there anything you can think of from LCD? Oh, you're muted. I'll mute you.
Just that their conviction is very, very strong, and they've had a couple of more years of testimonials and all the benefits. We're still a pretty small community, so we don't always know how people are feeling. They're also more focused, I would say. They shortened the whole process of getting in touch with people. If somebody is not reordering, then they go back to them and ask about, is something going on, job loss, somebody's sick. Big stuff happens sometimes, but sometimes it's just that they're doubting the effect that they're feeling, and they just sometimes need to be refocused. And Karen and I will show you how sometimes that goes. They also use the whole community. I mean, the three-way call thing and connecting and that part of it, they use that a lot better than I think we do. And they offered, those top guys offered themselves to us to get in touch with, which was awesome. But they just say we're available all the time. They're doing it full time. So we just need to have, strengthen the conviction of the product. Brian Underwood said he has underestimated the power of ketones in benefiting health. So that means that the results from the research that they're getting is more than they were expecting. And that's awesome.
So in that, so Brian Underwood, realistically, Brian Underwood is a big sports person. So when he started this keto thing, 4 or 5 years ago, he was more looking at it as an endurance, as a performance enhancement, all those kind of things. And then as he kind of got going and realizing all the other benefits, but now when we're soon going to have like clinical research, I'm really looking forward. Dr. Adam Nally's book, does have, I don't know if anybody here follows him. He does have in his book a lot of published clinical studies, and I cannot wait to get that because I have so many people that are saying that there's no clinical studies. There is. Dr. Adinelli has them. It's just we don't know. Like, I mean, we could search online for days. So we're going to have that, and that will really help to solidify us as well. But yeah, so Brian Underwood, he stood up there just like Susan said, and he was like, I have totally underestimated how powerful these are. Like, this isn't going to be, in the future, everybody will have a can of ketones in their pantry, just like, everybody's got a can of tuna or a can of whatever. Like, this is going to be a staple in everybody's pantry because of the benefits. So I think, so me and Susan, we're going to do a few role plays because I think a lot of us, we all kind of sign up as promoters. Some of us don't know anything about ketones and ketosis, and then they just go out to the world and start sharing it. And then other ones of us have plugged in more, have really listened to the calls, read books, got on different podcasts to learn more. So we're all at a different level, and that's completely fine. But we just thought maybe playing out some role plays so that you can hear and kind of feel like, don't use our exact verbiage. You need to use what works for you, but it can just give you an idea. And as you say it and do it more, it'll get easier and easier and easier. But so I'm going to put Susan on the spot here a bit. We did talk about this a bit, but so we'll do a role play. Do you want to be the customer or potential promoter, or do you want to be the the promoter selling it?
No, I'll be a customer. I'll be a new customer.
Okay. So let's do price. Okay. So we'll say that Susan is interested. Susan wants it for fat loss and energy, right? Because I don't want to go through the whole process at the beginning, but so she wants it for fat loss and energy. So me and Susan are talking back and forth. So Susan, so do you have any other questions? We talked about, how ketones and ketosis can help with the fat loss and energy. Do you have any other questions, or are you ready to get started on a box of Max?
Well, gosh, Karen, it sounds like an awesome product, but I'm a little worried about the money. To be honest with you, it seems like a lot to spend for a drink. I'm, not sure.
Yeah. So if I hear you correctly, so money is the main issue why you wouldn't buy it. Is there any other reason why you wouldn't want to try this?
Nope. No, it's mostly right now. It's the money. Maybe I'll find it doesn't work down the road, but for right now, starting out, it's just that I would have a hard time, making that financial commitment, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. No, I completely, you know what? I felt the exact same way. I knew about the product for 6 months and didn't order it because of the price. I kept thinking, like, I could buy so much food. So I completely understand where you're coming from. So right now we talk, so your energy is really low and you're really struggling to try to lose that fat that you've been trying to lose for years. What price would you be willing to pay if you could lose that weight and have the energy so that you can rock out your day?
Well, if I knew it was going to work for sure and I was going to lose weight and have that energy, well, that sounds, like a great deal. Like I think that would be, that I could, be more convinced about that. Sure. Well, do you have some suggestions on how to make it a little bit more economical?
Well, what I typically recommend, I know the product's going to work. What I typically recommend is to make sure that just to try the 10-day experience. So you can just try a few different flavors, but we have awesome Smart Ship discounts, so 22% off going in the future.
Oh.
If you keep it on, you'll get a free box every 4th month. And when you fall in love with the product, you're actually able to do a referral program where you can even get free ketones. So
free.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Mine for a year. So it's just right. So we do have a bunch of different things, but honestly, it's going to work. And for myself, I felt the exact same way. I thought it was really expensive. And now I cannot believe what an amazing product it is at this price. So So would you like to go ahead and just try the 10-day and try the different flavors?
Sure, I can do that.
So I don't know, anybody's feedback, like, so basically the whole process is that always ask the question to make sure that you're getting the right objection, because sometimes we assume one thing. So say if they say it's price and then you get talking and then you find out that they think that this is chemicals and a scam and something else. So you want to make sure that you're actually only dealing with whatever objection that they're dealing with. And always be relatable and be understanding and sympathetic, so that you're like, okay, I get it. Like, I think I thought it was expensive too, or whatever the objection is, but reassuring that you understand that. And then like for the price, really, what is it worth for better health? Like, we spend easily like $5 on a Starbucks and we don't think anything of it. So really finding out, like, what would they pay? How far off are we? Like, that's another question you can say, like, so what would you pay? If they said, you know what, I pay like $3 or $4, then you can go into the Smart Ship program where we can get that price down. Right? So there's a few different things. Sorry?
Well, I just wanted to throw in a couple of other things.
Sure.
Because they spent a lot of time talking to us about asking more questions of people. And so some of the questions that I wrote down when money was the discussion was, what do you spend money on yourself that makes yourself better? Like, do you get your nails done? How often do you get your hair done? Like, do you go get massages done? You know, things like that. And what if I told you that you won't want to buy the candy bars or the energy drinks, or, you know, the things like that you really you think you need to have? And so if I told you that you didn't need to that you wouldn't want to make those purchases, would that help with the cost? They also mentioned the money back guarantee. Right. So, you know, you always can get your money back if you're really not happy with it. And the last thing I would contribute to this is that if they say no now, it doesn't mean that they won't say yes in the future. Because maybe they're out of work, or, you know, maybe they've got a big credit card bill from a cruise or Christmas or whatever. You know, there are lots of things that would make people say no now that they would revisit in the future.
Right. No, awesome. All right. And so was that helpful? If I could get some like head shakes or thumbs up, perfect. What's another objection? Does anybody have like another objection? Maybe just throw something out that you find that you get when you're talking to people, or a question on like, how would I do something, like, so that me and Susan will just kind of role play out based on what we learned from LCD. This is an open environment, so do not be shy. We're all drinking ketones, so we all have confidence. Anybody?
What about salt content?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I mean, so for salt content, so if somebody says, comes back and says, oh my gosh, I can't take it because of the amount of salt that's in it. That's what you're talking about? So I always say, we actually didn't talk about this at LCD, so that's a good objection that we never got. So for the salt content, we do have it. I always say, I do have a number of articles, so I can send that to you so you can see where the research is. But our bodies, we actually do have a requirement of sodium that we need per day. And this is the sodium that our body actually needs and requires, not the white table salt that's on our tables. It's not on my table because I use Himalayan salts, but so it's got a ton of magnesium, potassium, zinc, a ton of minerals that our body actually needs. So with the ketogenic diet, we actually, with the ketogenic supplement, we actually need that sodium because ketones are diuretic and will actually flush out a lot of the minerals that we need. So we need to replace them. And that is why that is why it's in the product. And also to make ketone bodies, we need magnesium and potassium. So we need to make sure that there's lots in there so we don't become deficient. And there is awesome articles. So I would always follow up, like, would you like me to send an article so you can see where the research and science is going?
Or even if you're really leery of trying to imitate Karen with all her vast body of knowledge, you can just say, you know what? I know that it's a salt because that's how they make it. And I know that salt is not an issue. New research is saying salt is not an issue. Here's the article. I'll send it to you, and you read it. And then if you have questions, we'll get Karen on the line, and she can they're very quick to reach out to another person, so that the person you're talking to is not just getting your opinion, Rick. They're getting, Karen's opinion or someone else in the group that you feel might be an applicable, the best resource for the question. But sometimes they were very quick to say, you don't have to know the answers. You just have to know where you can get the answer. So an article, a person, a video, a doctor's talk, whatever it is. And look, I know what you're saying. I hear you. I was worried about that too. Here's an answer for you. Check this out. And when can I call you back after you've had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, and I know Michael Rutherford, when he sends something, he always says, hit me up with a thumbs up once you've watched this, right? So if you send it through Facebook, then they can just hit you up a thumbs up once they've seen it. But Susan's so right. So watch, connect, and enroll. So when you're talking to somebody, so if you are talking to somebody, say especially like a stranger, so if you get talking and the person just happens, most people love to talk about themselves, so ask lots of questions. And then as they get talking, usually you can find something that may work with the ketogenic, right? So find out that they're an athlete. Perfect. They need ketones. Find out that they have no energy. Perfect. They need ketones, right? So we all know that if we keep asking enough questions, we'll find something that we connect them to ketones. And then it's just kind of a great time. If you do ask a lot of questions, typically speaking, a lot of times the person will then want to ask you what you do, right? So if you ask, like, so what do you do? What's going on? And just ask a bunch of questions. So when they come back, you can be like, oh my gosh, you know what? I actually promote a supplement for cellular energy, and I help people with, and whatever it is that they just talked about, you help them with that. That's what you do. That's what you do for, right? And then just say, you know what? I'd love to shoot you a video. What's your cell phone number? Keeping it way shorter, because we all and I don't know how I was kind of brought into talking a lot more. And so, right. And so keeping it much shorter, send them video, because it literally is, let the video do the talking. And then you can just follow up with them and say, once they've watched it, say, what benefit did you like best? Because then you're not asking them a yes or no question, right? If you say, did you watch the video? It's going to be yes or no. What benefit did you like best? And then that will make them have to go on and watch the video if they're going to respond back to you. And then, connect them. So if you can, try to connect them with somebody, right? So whoever, like myself, whoever that would work well in that situation. And honestly, that is exactly like, for me, I would rather you connect them with me than you to try to find another video, another article or something, just so we can get that conversation going. Do not ever feel like you are bothering somebody, right? We are a team. This is a community. We are supporting each other. So it's not a bother. In fact, it's the exact opposite. You're doing the exact opposite of not being a team and a community when you don't loop us all together. So definitely connect. So watch, connect, and then the enroll part. And the enroll part can be a little intimidating at first for people. So I am really trying to help customers with their very first order and making sure that goes through nice and smoothly, so that there's no, issues on that side. I do a lot of online shopping, so I'm a pro. So I will help anybody with that process. Make sure that their address is the exact same. Their billing address is the exact same as their credit card. I know that stumbles a lot of people. So anybody that's been doing this a long time knows that, but some new promoters on here, just making sure that goes through. But honestly, reach out to whoever enrolled you. If they can't answer it, then they'll reach up to the next person. But this is, honestly, everyone, this is such a big opportunity. So our company, we are going to be coming out with electrolytes. So Rick, I know you're probably just as excited as me. We love our electrolytes. So me and Rick need a little bit more just because we've got maybe some more health issues. So we need that extra boost. But our electrolytes are going to have an extra something in it. Brian wouldn't tell us what. I don't think it's going to be ketones. Maybe it is. I don't know. Brian likes to like dangle a carrot and not give it all out. What other things? We're coming up with something that bonds against amino acids.
Ketones. Yeah, they're bonding ketones to amino acids. So then you'll have essentially a meal replacement.
Right. So that's going to be huge. And
the 143, apparently it hasn't been as available as we all hoped, because they had some problems with the packaging. Apparently some people had packages that leaked, and so they had to find a new packaging, and they had to get new labels and all of that stuff. He also announced that they are going to put it in a 1 liter bottle,
which is awesome. I don't know if anybody's been taking the 143, but for me, like with my brain trauma, I feel so much better when I take it. Like coconut oil does not touch what this does. Like I feel so much better. Susan, do you mind sharing maybe just a little bit about your customer story?
Yeah, so I have not shared the 143 too much because I was concerned that somebody would get on it and have positive results and not be able to get it and not be able to be consistent with it. But I had someone, I posted the day, the picture with Mary Newport's book and the 143 and then the little clock faces underneath it. So I put that up one day and said that my dad had passed away from Alzheimer's, and I had wished that we had something like this for him. And so someone reached out to me. Not anybody, I know who she is, but not anybody who'd been really on my Facebook before, not in my circle, and said that her dad was having some problems and that they had just moved, he and her mom had just moved into a home. And so we got together and we talked about his symptoms, and she took a couple of packages. She told me that the kitchen would start adding it to his food. He had refused to drink ketones. He doesn't even really drink water. He might drink some tea. So he's not going to do well on Keto OS or one of the liquid products. So she took a couple of packages and she started with 1/4 teaspoon a day, and they mixed it in with his food. And she had her mom, apparently he had done the clock test in the past and couldn't do any of it. And the first week, on just 1/4 teaspoon a day, he could do the clock test better. And so after a week they went up to 1/2 teaspoon, and then they went to a teaspoon, and now they're going on twice a day, and he's still not on a full packet a day. And she says every week he can do the clock test better. So she came and got a month's supply from me, which is pretty well all I had at the time. And so that's amazing. She's really, really happy. And she said to me, someone else had given her some ketones to try and she didn't take them, but she took them after she saw the difference in her dad. And she wants to talk to me about ordering them. So, I mean, that's just one person, but that's a really quick response. And
that is huge. I mean, that's going to make it, as those kind of stories come out, imagine if we can help people who are just starting and prevent, you know what I mean? Like, this is huge, people. So that's like when somebody is drinking it and they maybe wanted fat loss, but they're not getting that, but they're getting like the better sleep and all that stuff. Like, and that's only in a couple of months. Like, think about what we've done to our body over the years of stress, whatever. Like, I mean, because I know I'm not flexible. Say alcohol, cigarettes, I smoked for years. I didn't eat the best. When I was a banquet manager, I would drink like 2 coffees and a Red Bull all day and maybe not eat. I wouldn't have been in ketosis because I think the Red Bull has a ton of sugar. But, it's just like we've done a lot of stuff to our body, so that's not going to reverse overnight. So if you can, honestly, these last 2 conferences, I was always keto crazy before. I am more keto crazy, right? So this is powerful, and we can help people, but we have to really explain the benefits on a cellular level, and we are not going to fix cellular level in 10 days, right? So like, it really does depend. Like some people do in a couple of days feel better, but it's over time, right? So if we can really help educate and lead with education, come from our hearts, like do not make it feel like, if people don't want it, like that's totally cool. But when they're open and just saying like, you know what, if you have somebody totally skeptical and is like, ketones are bad, just be like, you know what, I get that. I totally understand. But when you're open to actually hearing, I've got a ton of like research and science and proof. I've got like a whole community, thousands of people that we're helping. So if you're ever open to hearing about it, we'd love to get you on a call with to help out, right? And just leave it, let them go. Don't, right? So just lead with your heart and show that you're really doing this because we care. And I mean, that's the community that we want to build. Do you want to do like, is there just, does anybody on the call not know exactly and maybe I should just kind of say, but does everybody understand the whole reboot? What exactly it is? Is there anybody on here that would like a little clarification?
Yes, please.
Okay, sure. So I know Susan's got a book on fasting. I have been for years listening to podcasts on fasting. So there we go. Look. So when we fast, we're not digesting. And if we're not digesting, then our body can do other things. As much as we all think we're robots and we can all do a million things, we can't. So I always use, and I know a lot of people are probably sick on this call because I say the same thing. I use the example that you cannot eat and go swimming right away. And that's because our bodies cannot digest food and then have the energy to swim. You'll get a stomach ache. So that's why our parents always told us not to swim after we ate. So it's the same sort of thing. So if your body has a bunch of things going on that it wants to fix, it cannot fix those if it's digesting food because it's always going to digest food first. So another example would be about like a really busy restaurant. So if a restaurant is constantly busy and they're serving people, they cannot clean the floor, clean the baseboards, clean everything because they're busy serving people and there's too many people coming in. Think about digestion and inflammation and everything in our body as the customers. So when we can stop digesting food, we can actually then clean the floors, clean the baseboards. So you have to wait till the restaurant is closed before you can start doing those things. So when we stop eating, our bodies can start cleaning house and doing other things. The problem is that we are in such bad health, as in we're not eating a lot of foods with a lot of minerals and vitamins and everything that we need to start cleaning the house. So you cannot clean a restaurant if you don't have water, soap, mops, right? All those things. So your body needs the minerals and the vitamins that is in the bone broth, the Max, the Signal OS, and the Keto Calm Tea. So you're going to get like a flood of a whole bunch of minerals, vitamins, everything your body needs to actually do all that repairing and renewing. So there is a ton of research on it, but people just have to understand. So when you're going to have a lot of ketones, so you're going to have all the energy you need to make it through the 60 hours. You do need to drink a ton of water. The thing that is so awesome about our community is that not only are you going to get all the products for the 60 hours, you're going to be in a community on Reboot, like on our Reboot Facebook page, where you're going to have Rob DeBoer, who has like years of experience in this. Dr. Heather, I don't know if everybody realizes, she has her own clinic, and she's been doing fasting, I think over 12 years in her clinic, and using the ketogenic diet to help people get better health. So she has been using fasting in her clinic as well. So she has years of research and like physical proof on how fasting and ketones in your body can help repair and rejuvenate. So people don't have to think like, oh, it's because I have the genes, I'm destined, I'm going to end up with blah, blah, blah disease because I have the genes. We can repair and regenerate, but we do need to nourish our bodies. Does anyone have anything that they want to add to that they can think of for the reboot?
I'll I'll pitch in
Sure.
if that's okay. So one of the things Rob said today was that you can think of the reboot as an alternative to drinking ketones every day, because he has found that a number of his friends who have refused to buy a box of 20 or drink it every day or do anything like that consistent are all over a 60-hour, once a month fast. Like, they're up for that. So it's an alternative. It's a new business builder, really, because you can reach some people who can't or won't do the everyday product. And so, you know, that's an alternative too. So some of those people who have said no to you, you can go back and say, we've got this new program. It's once a month. It's 60 hours. You know, it's a finite period of time. There's a whole, I think, over 20,000 doing it this month. You know, with lots of support. So that was another way to consider the reboot.
Right. Yeah, right. So yeah, so for the price, they're also getting a lot of help, accountability, everything that a lot of people want. We have less than a minute, so I do want to wrap this up. So I would like to do more of these calls. So maybe we'll do like one, if everyone wants to listen to Saturday's calls. So DMO's daily method of operation. Maybe we'll do another one later this week and really hone in on getting our daily method of operation for each individual. So if somebody just has an hour to spend a day, what that looks like, somebody that has more hours. And then we'll go forward, maybe do one on social media, do one. You can shoot me a message on what it is that you're struggling with, because maybe we can, as a community, do a Zoom call together to help support each other and make sure we're answering questions that you need to help grow your business.
Perfect.
How's that sound? Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, so anybody have anything really quick? I don't know if we can answer it or not, but we can try. Was this good?
Karen, really quickly, after your 60-hour reboot, do you notice anything physically yourself after 60 hours?
So for me, I did. My digestion and everything was way better. I have really poor digestion just from years of too many pharmaceutical drugs. It just, and maybe too much weed, I don't know. But my stomach, so I did notice a total difference. So for quite a few days, I felt a lot better. But then as kind of those other foods started creeping in, I do think a lot of people noticed if they were allergic